Do you know how important sleep is, but sometimes you struggle to actually put the habit in place? Today, I'm going to give you some simple tips so you can make sleep your highest priority. I'm also going to share with you some of the reasons why it's so important for you to make sure that is the case. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Back in 2020, I did a short stint at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs to do an audit on their wellbeing team and some of their wellbeing practices. And while a lot of that was me helping steer them in the right direction, I also learned a few things as well, as you always do when you're coaching or consulting. And one of the things I learned is that when the players are working on their wellbeing, is what they learn is that there are sort of 9 key drivers for your well-being, and the number one is sleep. And if you're not getting sleep right, then you may as well throw the other 8 in the bin, because you're not going to get the best results in them. That's how importantly they know sleep is, or that they rate sleep. So if you're not getting enough, then it is impacting every area of your life. And you probably already know that because of the follow-on implications. I know for me, when I was my last couple of years of corporate, I was heavily reliant on caffeine to get me through the day. I was drinking way too much coffee. And by the end of it, I was at adrenal fatigue and completely burnt out. Had some time off after that, which helped recharge the battery, but it also made a decision there to give up coffee at the same time. Not because I didn't enjoy the taste of coffee, and I'm not saying you have to give up coffee, but the point was I needed to get my sleep back on track. I needed to prioritize that and to get back to that high performance place. Just had a session with my weekly game plan group, and it's funny how these things come in patterns. It often does. And the big thing where the guys were going through was not getting enough sleep. And so I want to share what we did and give you some tips on how you can do the same to really drive yourself to get better sleep, so that you're actually making a commitment and being able to follow through on it. So the overriding thing is that they knew sleep was going to drive their best days. All pretty much said the same thing. So this is what I got them to do. Make a clear commitment on how many hours they need. And if that was the case, what do they need to commit to in terms of lights out? Not getting to bed, not getting ready to get to bed, but lights out, actually in that sleep state. And there are a whole lot of different things that are important to do for sleep hygiene in that preparation time. And I'm not going to go into that now, because I'm sure that you've all at least thought about that or made some commitment to improve that routine before bed. But it's how do you actually then put those things in place and commit to them and then actually follow through regularly. And that is by knowing why it's important. So what do I mean by that? The great man Les Brown talks about you need to have reasons that are more powerful than your fear. You might be thinking, what's fear got to do with sleep? Well, sometimes there's a fear of success. So if I get sleep consistently and I get all these really good results, there's going to be a level of success which I sometimes consciously, but generally subconsciously, is going to take you at a whole other level. What's that going to mean for my life, for my relationships? Like, am I ready for that sort of thing? Now, I've said this to people before about fear of success, and they've gone, there's no way that's true. I'm telling you, it absolutely is. We have a default level that we get success at, and what usually stops us is not the fear of failure, but it's like, what does life look like after that? And I look at it this way. If you really wanted that success, then you probably would have got it already. So there's a quote that probably gets misused, but it's like, what our greatest fear is not that will be a failure, but our greatest fear is that what if we are an unbelievable success? And I'm paraphrasing, I probably got that horribly wrong. But the important thing is back to the reasons. And those reasons work for everything because they're the ones that will make you act, whether it's fear or whatever it is that's stopping you. The reasons need to be more powerful than what's stopping you. And those reasons need to be deeply personal, but then some of them need to be beyond you as well, something bigger than you. So it starts from, a lot of them, they answer the same sort of thing, which was, well, they know their body and mind are going to get a good rest. So that was their number one reason or something like that. They knew that they're going to have more time and energy and be more productive the next day. Again, these are consistent results across the board. They use different language, but that's pretty much the same thing. When their energy is flowing, they both use that word flow. These two guys are on this page in front of me. Everyone sort of used different language. Then the time with other people was going to be higher quality, whether that was with their family, whether that was in a team environment, whether that was in their work that they were doing, that energy flow between them and other people. Because generally you do have the ability to influence other people if you're in that calm, relaxed, energized, rested state. And then generally when I was pushing them on what was that was important beyond them, the general answers were around, well, I know if I sleep better, I'm going to be more present with family. I'm going to be able to connect better with those people. I'm going to be able to, and then there was generally something that was like even bigger than that, which was like something to do with the future. I know I'm going to be able to have that real focus on where I want to go and have the energy to do it. I'm going to be able to dedicate more time. So there was a couple of them answering around that, around some community stuff, some contributions, some giving back, and ultimately who they wanted to be and what they wanted to achieve. So for you, it's using those answers as a bit of a guide, putting it into your own words. And this is the most important thing. You need to write them down. You need to write those reasons down and you need to read them every single day. And what I recommended to these guys was minimum 3 times a day. When you get up in the morning, sometime during the day, and then towards the end of the day. Now, I also recommend to people, if they're having trouble in implementing and actually putting a habit in place, then read it multiple times. Get an alarm to go off or a reminder in your calendar to go off so that you're reading this list. Because when you read that list, commit it to memory, but just know that is why, that is the importance. Then it connects you to the emotion of it. It creates a desire consciously, but it also creates a deeper drive subconsciously because it tunes into that part of your brain that loves to feel good. And when the emotion of those statements, which is why I said it's really important to have them deeply personal and more than just you, when you tune into the energy of that, into the desire of that, into the that inner subconscious drive, then you got to be dragged forward subconsciously. Like you'll find yourself doing it almost automatically. That's the power of having those emotional reasons why. You might hear people talk about, it starts with why. Well, to me, you need to know what first. So in this case, it's sleep. And then the why needs to be deeply important to that what. So it needs to be important around your sleep, but it needs to be something that's important for your everyday life. And that why, it's going to drive you to hit new levels of results in the habit you want to change, but also a new level of results that you'll achieve because that habit is in place. This is where high performance lives, continuing to add more and more of these high performance strategies and processes into your everyday so you can continue to go on that upward trajectory, continue to get those results that you want to get. And again, the big part of those whys is to be able to have that better connection with the most important people in your world, whether that's family, whether that's friends, or whether that's the people that you do business with. If you haven't already, take the time to hit subscribe or hit follow, depending on what platform you're on. Massive appreciation if you can. And again, it helps me hit more numbers, get in front of more people, and continue to attract higher quality guests so I can share more of this information with you, learn from more of those experts, and create that sense of community where you are having an active involvement in helping us to create a more positive world through the power of sport. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.